Hello, everybody. My name is Kathia Quiros. I am an immigration attorney, and today I am celebrating that um, we are still people in the United States that the Supreme Court considers as people protected by the Constitution and by the rules that this government has, and therefore DACA is alive. DACA is alive, which means that the dreamers can continue renewing their permits and new dreamers can apply for DACA at least until the president decides to cancel DACA. But when he does it, he has to do it the right way. So let me explain to you what happened. And let's start from the beginning. So, um, once upon a time, President Obama issued an executive action, which is not a law. It's just an order that the president signs saying, I am going to allow for those kids who came to the United States before the age of 16, before June 15, 2007, and who have been living in the United States all these years, the ability to ask for an employment authorization as long as they are going to school, or they went to school, they graduated high school, or they got their GEDs, and they don't have a criminal record that cancels their ability to ask for this employment authorization. And I am going to protect them from deportation by doing this. So this was called the DACA program. And we called the people who have DACA, we call them the dreamers. And so lots and lots and lots of dreamers applied for DACA and obtained employment authorizations. Years went by until President Trump came aboard, became the president. And one of the first things he did is he said, I'm going to cancel DACA. And he did. One day, we woke up to the news that DACA had been canceled. And the cancellation said, where we are canceling because we think this is illegal. And we are canceling. And so everybody was shocked. 700,000 people already had their employment authorizations, and these employment authorizations were valid for 2 years, and they didn't know what to do, right? So there was a massive shock. Everybody was so concerned. And the president said, well, one president can issue an executive order, another president can terminate whatever. And we went to court and we filed complaints against the cancellation. And some complaints were like, oh, this is so wrong. Other complaints were like, okay, there is a flaw here. There is a problem with this cancellation. When President Obama gave the executive action, there was a process. And in order for us to get the employment authorization, the government set up a process, a system, and we went to several steps. And now the President Trump comes, he just cancels it, no process, no notice, right? And so that was the main argument of the dreamers, that the way the president canceled DACA is wrong. And so we went to the courts. Some courts said, yes, I think you guys are right. Some of the courts said no. And then we went to appeals courts, higher courts. And when we had like 3 cases in appeals court, when the Supreme Court said, okay, we're going to review these. We have to put an end to all this mess that you guys are creating by going to all these different courts. So today, the Supreme Court said, first, that decision of the president with an executive action can be reviewed. In this case, it can be reviewed because the government was saying, oh, the Supreme Court cannot review what I just did because I'm the president and I can do whatever executive action I can. And the Supreme Court said today, no. I still can check. I still can review this order that you did, because in this order, people were granted benefits. And you cannot just strip people out of benefits just with a simple executive order, just with a simple letter. And we still can review it. And the second part of the decision is you needed a process. You needed to fulfill this process that we have in order to cancel it, and you did not. You acted arbitrarily and capricious. That's a technical term that lawyers we use to say you didn't have a well-founded basis to cancel this program. You didn't explain why you were doing it in a way that made sense. You only said, I think it's illegal, and you had no basis, and you did not provide it a process for it. So I'm sorry, but the way you cancel DACA, it's wrong, and therefore it's invalid. So what happens? We celebrate. Okay. The first thing we do is celebrate, but then what happens next? Well, right now we cannot do anything. We have to sit and wait. And we're going to wait for the Department of Immigration to tell us how is that they're going to start receiving new applications. Because right now, dreamers have been able to renew their permits, but no new people have been able to file for DACA. So there is a lot of thousands of kids outside that were waiting for this moment, and they are anxious to file, right? If you're a dreamer, you must be super anxious to file. But you cannot do it right now because the Department of Immigration a long time ago suspended the receipt of new applications. So now they have to announce that they're going to receive them again. They have to announce if the form is okay the way it is or it needs to be updated. So wait for this announcement. The people who are dreamers, who have employment authorizations, these need to renew their employment authorizations. So don't forget to do it, and do it at least 11 months before it expires. And why? Now I'm going to explain you why. We know that we're going to have a certain amount of dates to apply for new applications and to keep renewing, but we don't know how long, because it all depends on whether the president decides to cancel DACA again or not. So if the president decides to cancel DACA, he can do it, and DACA will die. But it'll have to go through a process. The process takes approximately 60 days. So if I put myself in the worst case scenario and President Trump announces today that he's canceling DACA, we will only have 60 days to file new applications and to renew DACAs. That's the worst case scenario. If, to the contrary, President Trump doesn't do anything, then we should be able to file new applications until the end of his presidency, and we will also be able to ask for something called advance parole. Advance parole is something that we had when DACA was instituted, where dreamers were able to ask for permission to travel outside the United States and will be able to re-enter the United States no problem. These permits were ended when President Trump canceled DACA. So now we know that we should be able to get them back. But if the president decides to cancel DACA in the next few days, then it will not be worth it asking for advance parole, because the process right now takes 4 to 5 months. And by the time they decide on it, it will be past the day of cancellation of DACA. So there's many things going on right now. The most important thing, the one that you need to remember, is it's time to wait for whatever happens with USCIS, the news about how they're going to handle the new applications, and wait for the next move of the president. In the meantime, let's celebrate with all the dreamers that DACA is alive, that the Supreme Court did not look at the color of our skins, did not look at our legal status to make this decision, but instead only look at the rule of law. They only look at the rules and the procedures that we have instituted in this country to make sure that nobody can make decisions out of their heart or their politics, but that they have to do it thinking on the best for this nation. So I'm super happy. I hope you understood this news in an easy way. And if you like this video, please subscribe. Please put a thumbs up. And if you have questions, write them down. Good seeing you.